Hello, I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports, and welcome to another edition of the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. On today's RealTime Fantasy Sports Show, I'm going to give you my five waiver wire ads for week 2 of the fantasy season. So I'm going to give you 5 of my favorite waiver wire ads. There's a lot of guys you can look at this week, and I have an article up. It's my wavering article. It goes through all those options, but these are my top 5 guys to add for this week. Like I said, a lot of options out there, a lot of running backs made this list, emerging, maybe kind of surprisingly, or got a chance to play because of injury as well. So there's a lot of options out there for week 1. Just remember, don't blow all your fab money in week 1. You need to save that for throughout the season. There's really nobody on this list that looks to be an elite player all season long. Sure, some guys could emerge and play at a high level, but there's not really that one guy on here you want to blow all your money on in week 1. Just be smart, be judicious with your fab money. All right, with that said, that out of the way, here are my 5 waiver wire ads for week 2. My favorite one's Nyheim Hines with the Colts. He is available in 39% of leagues on our site still, so a little less than half, but still, he's out there in some. And Marlon Mack was injured last week, but even before Mack was injured, Hines was a big part of the offense. He had 8 catches. He scored 2 touchdowns. We know Phillip Rivers loves to throw to the running back. He threw 17 times to running backs last week, 17 times. And Hines is the top pass catcher out of the backfield for the Colts. I think he can really be a top 20 fantasy back all season long. I'm not surprised by his big showing in week 1 with the way that Rivers likes to utilize the back. Look at Austin Eckler the last couple years. That could be Nyheim Hines in this Colts offense. So I'm very high on Hines. He should be owned in all formats going forward. All right, another one of my favorite waiver wire ads for this week is Myles Gaskin with Miami. So he was the big surprise for me last week. Came out of nowhere, outproduced Matt Breida, Jordan Howard. A lot of people thought, who's going to emerge out of Breida and Howard? Well, it was Myles Gaskin, the guy nobody was talking about. But this is why not seeing the preseason action was detrimental to fantasy owners, because as you saw in that first game, Gaskin looked really good. He was the best back of the 3, really looked the part, ran 9 times for 40 yards, also caught 4 passes for 26 yards. I think he's going to have a big role in this offense all season long, could get around double-digit touches per week for Miami, and I think he could emerge as maybe the top back in that offense. So he's worth an ad for fantasy teams. Another one of my waiver wire ads for this week is Malcolm Brown with Los Angeles. So again, another surprise. We all thought that Cam Akers or Henderson would be the guy in Los Angeles, but no, it was Malcolm Brown who had the best game of the 3 backs. He ran 18 times for 79 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, also caught 3 passes for 31 yards, giving him more than 100 total yards in the game. He outproduced Cam Akers. He's available in 77% of leagues on our site. I still think Akers is going to be a big part of this offense. It'll probably rotate from week to week who gets the most work. But Brown was impressive in the opener, and you can't ignore that. He could be a big part of this rotation going forward. All right, another one of my waiver wire ads for week 2 is Paris Campbell of Indianapolis. Another Colt lands on this list. He is available in just over half of the leagues on our site. 53% of leagues still has Campbell out there. And there was some hype about him in the offseason, said he had a good offseason, a good camp, and it showed in week 1. He had 6 catches for 71 yards. He also ran once for 9 yards. He led the Colts in targets in this game at the receiver position, and we know that T.Y. Hilton's there, but I think Campbell's a better fit for Phillip Rivers. Hilton's more of that deep threat. Campbell could be used more underneath, could be a good fit for this offense. I think he could end up leading the Colts in receptions, and he should be nabbed up in most formats as well. All right, my last waiver wire ad is Benny Snell of Pittsburgh. Shocking, James Conner's hurt already. Yeah, big surprise. I know it might not be too serious, but he could be out some time, and that leaves Snell as a starter. And even if Conner isn't hurt too seriously and he's playing, Snell looked great last night in that Monday night game. Hit the 100-yard mark rushing. He's available in 63% of leagues, so he's out there in a lot of leagues. I think his ceiling's high in this offense as a starter. Pittsburgh looked very good offensively last night with Ben Roethlisberger back at QB. So Snell, I think, has a very high ceiling as a starter as long as Conner's out. So he's another guy I would look at adding to my fantasy roster. All right, those are my 5 waiver wire ads for week 2. I hope you had a very successful week 1 and you don't have to look too hard at this waiver wire list this week. But if you do, there's some options out there, some guys to pick up, especially at the running back position. So happy waiver wire hunting. This has been Jeff Paur for Real Time Fantasy Sports. Have a great day, everyone.